So today we're going to talk about why you have not met the right man yet. Okay, yet. And just remember yet. Okay. Now, really quickly, I just want to be transparent here. I saw this title on Matthew Hussey's YouTube channel, and in all transparency, I didn't watch it, so I have no idea if there's any similarities or I'm going down a different rabbit hole. But I want to start by saying, if you're like me, you seek a healthy, happy relationship. If you watch my channel, I always say a juicy, delicious, healthy, happy relationship. And if you're not in one, you might be thinking, what's wrong with me? Why is it I'm such a perfect person, but I can't find the one? Well, let me say something out loud. There is nothing wrong with you. Let me repeat, there is nothing wrong with you. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting a healthy, happy relationship, to be with the right person. So why is it that you have not met the right man yet? It's because it's not the right time. It's not the right time. But more importantly, you're not the right person yet. Okay. You just need a little bit of tweaking. And my hope is I'm going to be sharing with you 5 ways to tweak where you're at today to actually become a magnetic attractor for what you want. I want you to think of like a needle in the haystack. Okay. I want you to start operating like an electromagnet. I want you to just magnetize yourself to the possibility of achieving a juicy, delicious, healthy, happy relationship. So I want to share with you a post I did on Instagram today. And I want to read. So what I do is, by the way, there's a link below to join my Instagram page so you can see these. But today I found a meme by Adam Grant, and the meme said, the best cure for loneliness is not more frequent interactions. It's more meaningful interactions. Many people enjoy solitude. We can spend up to 75% of our time alone without feeling isolated. What matters most for well-being is the quality of connections, not the quantity. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. So let me share with you the blog I wrote that corresponds with this. I said it's an interesting space to go from being in a relationship where you live together like I did to being single and living by yourself. The first thing is getting used to the quiet. Can anyone relate to that, to the quiet that happens when you're not in a relationship? And I got to be honest, I miss snuggling with someone. I miss sleeping in a bed with someone. I actually miss spooning. Okay. Not from a poor me kind of way. I'm saying I enjoy it. What's interesting is that I actually like my own company. Where'd I go here? What did I say? What's interesting, I actually like my own company. And I don't feel the need to fill the time with distractions. Like a lot of people fill their time with distractions. I don't have the feeling of filling it with distractions. What matters most to me is the quality of interactions. And this is especially true as I've put myself out there on a dating perspective. Instead of the old numbers game or making one's funnel so large, I'm sure you've heard this, make your funnel so large, okay? If it doesn't click in the form, okay, and I said, I'm approaching the process with laser focus, only inviting in alignment. And I'll be talking about that in a few minutes as well. If it doesn't click in the form of enrichment, then it's not a fit for me. Let me add this. Dating profiles are a form of energy, and how one approaches their profile is a reflection of who they are at that moment. Quality effort leads to quality results. Okay, so why am I bringing this up? Because when you're by yourself, when you're wondering, am I good enough? Am I lovable? Am I attractive enough? Or worse, I'm the most awesome person on the planet, and the problem is all men, for those women that are following me. And if you're a man following me, the problem is all women. It's fascinating to me how we humans have this capacity to say it's men's fault, it's women's fault, it's men's fault, it's women's fault. It's a mess out there. Well, I get it. It can feel like a mess, but at the same time, you have a choice. You can operate from a place of abundance. If you follow my channel, I always say, it's raining great men, it's raining great men, it's raining great men. You can operate from a place of abundance, or you can operate from a place of cynicism, from pessimism. And I'll be candid with you. I am guilty of sometimes sounding pessimistic and having cynicism when I talk about what a clusterfuck it is out there. And I call that realism, right? It's just being real. I want to speak to that person who recognizes the dysfunction that exists, but at the same time operates from a place of absolute knowing, absolute trust, absolute belief that you can actually magnetize that needle in the haystack. You don't have to burn down the haystack. I want you to operate from a place of, I'm a magnetic attractor for what I want. And so why this title says you've not met the right man yet, what I'm about to invite you to do is make shifts in these 5 areas. You most likely just need a little bit of tweaking. You know, the reality is we're not surrounded by single eligible people in our daily lives. Most of us, many of us work from home, or we work in environments where we're not meeting people day in, day out. And I want you to understand something. Up until about 50 years ago, most everybody who ever met and fell in love, they met and fell in love in their tribe. What I mean by their tribe, their work environment, the town they live in, or literally hundreds of years ago in the tribe you lived in. So anybody who says, well, I want a traditional relationship, well, you need a time machine to go back to an environment that afforded you to be around single eligible people. And the biggest difference now versus then, you see, it used to be chemistry equaled relationship success. See, if 2 people had chemistry with one another, they most likely already had lifestyles that were blendable. Oh, let me pull up my chart here. Folks, you know my, folks that are regular, you know my relationship iceberg chart, okay? Compatibility, okay, so chemistry is about attraction. Compatibility is about shared values, blendable lifestyles, and emotional maturity. Well, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, it was easy to be compatible because most everybody kind of shared the same values where they grew up. They had lifestyles that were easily blendable, and more important, their maturity level was rather relatively equal to one another because they grew up in a somewhat of a silo type of environment. See, we've adapted. See, chemistry doesn't equal relationship success. Chemistry is important. We need that to get the engine running. That's the fuel to get the car moving. But at the same time, it's so critically important to hold space, to have the same values. And so, and to have lifestyles that are blendable. This is why, you know, I'm constantly, you know, pessimistic about those of you that are doing the long distance dynamic. And while I was in a short-lived long distance dating environment because we moved in together rather quickly, I wasn't in a protracted type of environment. And many of you have spent years in protracted cyber relationships thinking, you know, once we meet, it'll all work out. Well, you know, this is some of the dilemma most of you are faced with because you're operating under this premise that chemistry equals relationship success. And I'm here to burst your bubble. You need to have shared values, blendable lifestyles, and most importantly, emotional maturity. And granted, we are an emotionally dysfunctional society, at least here in the United States. I can't speak for the rest of the world. So how do we put the odds in our favor? How do we go from why you haven't met the right man yet to you've met the right man? Well, I said you need a little bit of tweaking in these 5 areas. And I shared this in a previous video. So if this sounds like a repeat, it's because, folks, do you know somebody, there's an old saying, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. How do you learn an instrument? You've got to practice it, practice it, practice it. how we do anything in life is through repetition. So when I repeat myself habitually, it is because through this repetition, it is actually sinking in. And I can't believe that I can't begin to tell you how many text messages I get. They go, Jonathan, I've been listening to you habitually for months, if not years. And I finally met the one because everything you said sunk in. And you repeat yourself. I'm repeating myself right now, folks. I know I'm babbling here for a moment, but just bear with me. It's because repetition is how we learn. So the first thing we have to do to shift from yet to now. Okay, how do we shift from yet to now? The first thing is being our best selves. Being in a good place in our lives, physically, emotionally, logistically, professionally, attempting to be our best selves. It's not an absolute. It's about working towards being your best self. This is why I'm such a big proponent of everyone doing personal development, self-help, and spiritual work. And if you haven't read my book, What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? Journey of Personal Development, Self-Help, and Spiritual Work, there's a link below to get a copy of my book. Okay, and all the books I recommend. Is because it is through this work that we can actually, okay, let me put a pause here for a second. And I really want to emphasize this. I had a woman write me on a dating site. This is match.com, where I've written this full, 300 character, there's 4,000 characters to fill out. I filled out 3,100 characters. So literally the entire profile. And she said, you're an amazing writer. How were you able to write so beautifully? Folks, can I be candid with you? I was never a writer, never been a writer. And in all transparency, I use Grammarly. Does anyone use Grammarly? I use Grammarly to edit the punctuation and grammatical dysfunction that I have when I write. I didn't learn how to write from my heart until I began doing personal development, self-help, and spiritual work. See, it's once I began doing that I was actually tapping into my heart. So I can actually write from that space. So my point is through this work, through this individual work, it actually is giving you the tools to be better in relationship. Most importantly, communication tools. Folks, most of you all say communication is the most important thing in a relationship. I agree. But most couples, they talk at each other and not with each other. I'm going to repeat that. Most couples talk at each other, not with each other. If you're not familiar with the book, Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg, I highly recommend you checking this out. This will teach you more effective communication. And ladies, you guys are no picnic at this. I watch TikTok reels. I mean, it's so funny how women, and this is the parody on women, demonstrates the irrational way you communicate to us men, irrationally. And then you wonder, and then you point the finger at us. And by the way, for the record, men are jackasses too. Okay. So number one, being your best self. Number two, clarity on the relationship you want in general, clarity on the relationship you want, and important, piggyback on that, is how to vet for that compatibility. So first, clarity. I say this in almost every prospective coaching call client. I always say, Jonathan, or women come to me all the time, Jonathan, I know what I want. I know what I want. I know what I want in relationship. And then they go through this proprietary coaching program I created. And there's a link below to schedule a discovery call with me on this, if you want to talk to me about it. And do you know what they say after this 6-week program? What almost every single woman says? Why didn't they teach me this in school? Why didn't my parents teach me this? Why didn't I learn this before I married that knucklehead? See, folks, most of us don't have clarity on who's actually compatible. So if you want to become electromagnet, see, being an electromagnet for that needle in the haystack is about learning to really how to magnify your intuition. I've heard for years, for decades, women have this amazing intuition. Women have intuition. It's a woman's intuition. Why is it I get call after call after call after call from women who have been in a relationship where I've been used, I've been used, I've been used, I've been, well, where was that fucking phenomenal female intuition? See, we actually have the capacity to fine tune our intuition through clarity. Right? Someone write this down. Clarity breeds confidence, and confidence leads to better choices. Clarity breeds confidence, and confidence leads to better choices. Number 3, how to meet and how to flirt. Believe it or not, folks, Prince Charming isn't going to Prince Charming isn't going to knock on your front door. A burglar might break into your home, about ready to steal your television set, and go, wow, you're cute. Would you like to go out on a date? I mean, folks, you have to make effort to be seen. But more importantly, flirting is the reason why we have to learn how to flirt. And that's not my area of expertise. Go Google flirting. That's not my area of expertise. Why do we have to learn flirting? Is because these days we're meeting total strangers and we've got one shot for connection. And sometimes 2 relatively good people meet, but they never go on a second date. 2 good people meet, because they didn't know how to ignite the charcoal. They didn't know how to ignite the flame. They didn't know how to flirt with one another. Flirting is an important technique in the early stages. But Jonathan, I'm supposed to sit back in my feminine energy and let men lead. That's what the book The Rules says. That's what all these feminine energy coaches say. I don't need to do anything. I just need to be in my feminine essence. I need to just go, and vibrate at 452 megahertz or whatever the fuck it is. Okay. Do you realize that this whole narrative about women just sitting back and doing nothing is ruining your chances because men are clueless. Men are winging it. So learning how to flirt is an important factor in meeting the right man instead of yet, now. The 4th piece, folks, if you haven't figured out how to maintain and make a relationship thrive, if you haven't figured out how to maintain and make a relationship thrive, you have to read this book. Take out the word marriage and replace it with relationships. The 7 principles for making relationships work. Folks, humans don't know how to be an adult in relationship. I mean, seriously, read this book. How to be an adult in relationships. Humans don't know how. If you don't know how to but Jonathan, I'm just supposed to do nothing because it's just supposed to be natural. Why is it so hard? Because humans are complicated. We are riddled with insecurities and fears, and I'm not good enough, and I'm not attractive enough, and I was wounded in my childhood, or I was wounded in my past relationships, and I'll do nothing, expecting that magic fairy dust will change everything. How to maintain and make a relationship thrive. Believe it or not, this is a skill. And it's a needed skill. And last but not least, to enter the vortex or vibration. To enter the vortex or vibration. Folks, if you watched my video for my last couple videos, I talked about a 6-hour phone date I had. Now, in full transparency, this was somebody who recognized me professionally. This wasn't when we communicated with one another. I thought it was simply going to be a friendly telephone call because she lived 400 miles away. And the truth is, after the end of the phone call, I realized that she wasn't in the capacity to move from where she's at. And quite frankly, I don't necessarily want to do long distance dating. But we had this amazing conversation that lasted 6 hours. I was in shock. The first part of the conversation was 3.5 hours. We had to go to the bathroom and we took a 20-minute break. And when we got back on the phone to wrap up, we talked for another 2.5 hours. I was in shock. It was one of those beautifully orchestrated conversations where it was like we were on a seesaw. It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And why I'm sharing this with you is I feel like I'm in the vortex. I'm in the vibration. I made notes of what I experienced. And if you're interested, I'm going to share this with you. But first, it was cool that she recognized me professionally. I like that. But she immediately, their first message to me, she said, "Hey, handsome," kind of thing. She complimented me. In other words, she was already attracted to the photographs. And by the way, she had amazing photographs. It saddens me how many dating profiles I look at where women who put such poor representations of themselves, half of them are wearing sunglasses in their first photograph. Half of them have resting bitch face. Half of them, it's out of focus. It's poor quality. And folks, that energy that you're putting out is why you're having mediocre results. The women who put together stellar dating profiles get better results. Okay. But she complimented me. Next, she was easy to talk to. You know, a lot of times you get on the phone with someone, and ladies, I'm sure you've had this happen with men, unconscious men who are talking about themselves. It's rare that you feel that, God, you could just talk forever with this person. Well, that's what I experienced over the telephone. And she talked with me, not at me. Remember, I talked about this before? Talking at me, she was talking with me. We seem to share the same values. We talked about politics and religion. We talked about our lifestyles. Oh my God, she was flirty, cute, and silly. And she had this laugh that snorted. And again, I'm repeating myself from something I shared before because this story illustrates a point, and we learn through repetition. You know, the other factors is my point is being in this vortex. When you are in the vortex, you become a magnetic attractor to what you want. You become a magnetic attractor to what you want. And so I invite you to make a list of what you want to experience. I want you to make a list of the qualities that are most important to you. I want you to make a list of what it feels like. And in a recent short video, I said, make a list of 30 things. And someone said, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Do you realize there are hundreds of feelings? There are hundreds of qualities. There are hundreds of values. There are hundreds of so many different variables that make up a person. Writing 30 of them should be nothing. If that feels daunting or it feels like you're asking for too much, we're talking out of qualities, feelings, values. There should, out of 400, if you can't come up with 10% out of those 300 or 400, then what does that say about your capacity to recognize the kind of relationship you desire? What does that say? How can you recognize it if you don't even know what it is? If you can't write it on a sheet of paper? And according to Stephen Covey, who wrote the book 7 Habits for Highly Successful People, I could be misquoting this. Didn't he say a goal that's written down has 9 times greater chance of achieving success? So what do you have to lose? But Jonathan, it's just too much. It shouldn't be this hard. Everything is supposed to be easy. That's what I was told. The fairy tale. That's what I was told. F the fairy tale. My friend Damona Hoffman just wrote a book called F the Fairy Tale. Folks, you gotta be, okay. So bottom line is this. I know I sound like a pessimist or a cynicist at times, but I'm here to invite you all to lean into trusting that a juicy, delicious, healthy, happy relationship is just around the corner from you. When you do the inner work to be your best self, when you have clarity on the type of relationship you want, and you learn how to vet for that compatibility, when you learn how to meet and how to flirt, when you learn how to maintain a healthy, happy relationship, and most importantly, when you get into the vortex of what you want, you become a magnetic attractor for what you seek. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating? Please let me know. If it is, post a comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. If you got to this point, you liked what I had to say, hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell as well so you can be notified of new videos just like this one. All right, those who know my format know it's time for Q&A. If you have a question, write the word question, then post the question thereafter. Or you can purchase a super sticker super chat. There's a little $sign in the chat box. All the monies from the super sticker super chat goes to a scholarship fund in the name of my son, Connor Asley. That's a picture of him right there. Isn't he so cute? It's my son who passed away over 5 years. My son who passed away over 5 years ago. In his honor, I donate to causes like the Hoffman Process, Insight Institute, and give scholarships to my coaching program as well. Oh, I'm just feeling him right there for a second. So again, I would love for you to donate. We already had someone donate earlier. I just want to give Christina Noel big props for that $10 super sticker. And our goal tonight is $50. $50. So we only need $40 more to get there. All right, let's see what we've got here. I saw a question from True Morris. By the way, yes, I did repeat myself. And for everybody that's talking right now, at this moment, The Golden Bachelor is airing on the East Coast at the time I'm recording this. I completely forgot to do this 1 hour earlier. My bad. So you'll come back and watch the replay. True Morris has a question. Do you have to be a millionaire to be on a dating app? I've never been on one dating app. Suggestion. I don't know if I will, but getting ready to date. I'm ready. True. Are you a man, by the way? I'm just curious. Because I don't think that's a question I would hear from a woman. By the way, no, you do not have to be a millionaire to be on a dating app. And even the dating app Millionaire Match, which I'm on. Hold on a second. Let's find that app. Here. Okay. So this is the app. That's a picture of someone. I think your net worth has to be 300,000 to get a certified status. So no, you don't have to be a millionaire. What I like about that app is for the people that pay for it, because it's a little bit more expensive. It's about $60 a month or $70 a month. I think people that invest more money tend to be a little bit more serious. So I subscribe to 4 dating sites: Match.com, Millionaire Match, Hinge, and Bumble. Now, I've only been on the sites for a few months since my relationship ended. I can tell you that I have yet to connect with someone that I feel such vibration to want to meet them. Remember I said about the electromagnet earlier? See, I believe that when you vibrate with someone, like I did with that 6-hour phone call, when you vibrate with someone, that's the person you should meet. Now, I know every dating coach will tell you, do it the numbers game, plan on 1 date a week and make your funnel gigantic. I'm not speaking to those people that are playing in the transactional world. I'm strictly speaking to those of you that want to operate from your intuition, that want to operate from your divinity. Okay. Breathe that in. I'm talking to those that want to operate from their divinity, that operate from their heart, that operate from that place of I'm a magnet for what I want. And I already know who I am. And I know who's compatible with me. So I'm not going to chase the rabbit holes of, you just never know. You know what? Oh, they seem like they've got all the qualities, but you just never know, or maybe, or blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you something. You just never know. Okay, it's like a broken clock. It works twice a day, okay? But the other 22 hours, it doesn't work. Do you guys get that? It doesn't work. Going against your gut doesn't work. I got to tell you something. I learned this, I don't want to say the hard way, because how you get a gut is through experience. So I reflected back. I put together a list here. See this? I just put together a list of all my significant people, the significant relationships, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and even the 6-hour date, I'm going to give her, so it's 7. I'm giving her credit as a significant relationship because it taught me something huge. But I looked at my 6 significant relationships. Three of them were less than a year. 2 of them were about a year. And my marriage and my most significant relationship after my divorce was about 3.5, 4 years total. I looked at each experience and I go, what positive things did I learn about myself in each one of these experiences? What was good about each? How did I heal? How did I heal from my wounds in each experience? What was good about each experience, and what am I most grateful for? When you can actually sit in a state of gratitude, that vibration of gratitude, you're going to go from why you're not met the right man yet to now. When you can get in the vortex, when you can get into gratitude, you will be operating from a now space and not a yet space. Does that make sense? By the way, who wants to join the hot seat? If you want to join the hot seat, click this link that I just posted. Click the link that I just pointed to join the hot seat, to join the heat. By the way, that was join the hot seat, not heat. That was kind of funky that I made that grammatical. See, I make grammatical errors all the time. Thank God for Grammarly, but it didn't pick up on that. All right. Diane says the pictures for men are key. They don't need to be staged or professional, just clear looking, happy, fun, a body shot, single person. So I agree. However, with that said, Diane, a photographer can put together a curated profile that looks fantastic. They can grab the essence and energy of who you are. And it doesn't have to be, and it just looks like quality. And anybody who tells you professional photographs are off-putting, well, those are people that need to argue about something, okay? There is nothing wrong with hiring a professional to bring out your essence of who you are. That's the job of the professional, to bring out your essence. So long as it's true, your essence, that's their job. But yes, my son, by the way, my son took my dating profile pictures for me because I know how to radiate energy. I want you to recognize this. To attract someone, you have to radiate. If you're not radiating, you're not going to attract someone in. So it behooves you to put out such positive energy to radiate someone in. All right. Do we have any other questions? Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Nancy wrote a question earlier. Again, write the word question, post the question thereafter. Are you channeling Abraham Hicks now, vortex and vibration? Okay, for those that are not familiar with Esther Hicks, she channels a spirit named Abraham, and it's known as Abraham Hicks. I am a big fan of Abraham Hicks. I'm a big fan of Joe Dispenza. I'm a big fan of Wayne Dyer. I'm a big fan of the book Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. I'm a fan of Greg Braden. I'm a fan of a variety of different people. And am I channeling? Well, think about this, folks. I do all this without, I'm not reading from a script. I literally speak from divinity, from my channeling my higher self. So to that essence, I am, and I talk about vortex and vibration because that's where I learned it through Abraham Hicks. Those are just words that were made up well before she was born, vortex and vibration. But doesn't it make sense? Did any of you read Winnie the Pooh? Okay. Winnie the Pooh had 2 friends, Eeyore and Tigger. Eeyore is, woe is me, the sky is falling, life sucks, there's no good men out there, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not likable, I'm overweight, I'm this, I'm that. And Tigger was Bouncity, bouncity, bounce, bounce, bounce. Bouncity, like, you know, like you, that's the vortex. Tigger brought more joy into his life. So you have a choice. Who wants to be Tigger and who wants to be Eeyore? Raise your hand, write it down. I want to be Tigger. I am Tigger and no one can tell me otherwise. Daniela writes, question, I'm retired next year and don't know what I'm planning. I don't know. I'm retiring next year and know that I'm planning to live in Montreal for 6 months. Is this something I should share from the get-go? If it's material to getting to know someone, abso-fucking-lutely. If it's material to getting to know someone, that seems like it is a big one. So yes. Okay, Renee, we'll have you on in a second. I just want to take poultry flowers. Question, how old is too old and how much young is too much young? You know, I'm not here to judge age. You know, I think women criticize men for dating women much younger. I hear that criticism all the time. Okay. If a woman dates much younger, do we criticize her? Do we call her cougar? What do we call this person? You know what's most important? Two people that are grown up, two people that make a commitment to one another. Age, you know, but would an 18-year-old boy and a 78-year-old woman be a good fit? I don't think so. But, you know, who am I to judge, and vice versa as well? Okay. Renee. Oh, wait, Rena, excuse me. Rena.
Yes, right.
Turn up your volume. Talk.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
You know what? It's my fault. Hold on a second. I've got to I've got to do it on my end. I owe you an apology. I got to fix that on my end. Okay, Rena, now talk.
yeah. Can I talk
Okay.
now?
Hello.
Mm. Yes. Hello.
What's your
Hello.
question?
Right. I want to find out. Well, me and my husband woke up going in 2 weeks now. 2 weeks, right? He's not calling, talking, texting, or anything. I want to know if I should leave him alone or call him
You
or
know
just
what?
leave him alone.
Okay, I don't feel comfortable talking about such an important topic as a marriage without knowing a ton of back information. There's a lot of information that needs to be addressed, and I don't feel comfortable having that kind of conversation with, you know, giving you just generalized advice. I don't think that's healthy for you. You know, you're not communicating. Okay, here's my recommendation. Okay. I think I want you to talk to a couples counselor first to get advice, somebody who's trained in couples counseling, and see if you can get your husband to also join couples counseling. Can you do that for me?
Well, not at the moment. Not at the moment, but the thing is he's very stubborn. He's act like a narcissist. And he
Okay. Well,
doesn't
again, I don't think this is the right forum to talk about this, because I want you to go seek a professional that specializes in this. Because again, there's probably hours of conversation that needs to be discussed first before any genuine advice should be delivered. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I give you a big, gigantic Jonathan Bear hug of appreciation? Okay. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it.
Thank you too.
Okay. Thanks. Folks, when we have a situation like a marriage where there's a lot of moving parts that needs to be addressed first, it's difficult to have that kind of conversation. And then I don't feel comfortable giving advice on just some rough shot perspective. I just think there's a lot of, I need to know how long they've been married, how long this, how long that, how long this, how, you know, do you get that? So that's why I didn't mean to dismiss her so quickly, but I just felt that it's important to speak to somebody who specializes in this sooner rather than later. Okay. Marianne said, personal question. When you go out in public, do you have people randomly come up and talk to you, possibly even try to touch you? Or do you think that's because of being a high vibrational person? Like when I go to the grocery store, I mean, nobody walks up to me and says, I want to touch you. So that doesn't happen. I went to get a haircut today. I mean, I gave a hug to the gal that cut. By the way, yes, I got my haircut. No, I don't color my hair, but I do have gray that's popping up here. So, oh, in full transparency, I do get my eyebrows done now because there's a lot more gray there. So in full transparency, I do there. So you can see. Okay. No, I've never had that happen. I mean, I was at a seminar a few months ago, and yeah, I felt like the women, I tend to put out a vibe that I'm very easy to talk to. So women do feel that way. I mean, strangers, not people that already know me. So yeah, I don't know if that's what that is for you. I just don't think it's appropriate to touch someone you don't know. That's just my feeling on that one. Okay, thanks, Marianne, for posting that. I really appreciate it. By the way, Sharon said that was a faux pas, John. I don't recall the faux pas I had. If you could write it down, I'd be curious to know how I faux pas. Okay. Sherry Edwards. Oh, big Sherry's in the house. Big gigantic hugs. I'm resonating with your teaching. I'm excited. Thank you. Jane Spitfire's in the house. To attract the right man, I should be looking well dressed, made up, and be happy and flirty. So here's how I feel about what you just said. If you're meeting a total stranger, I don't think you're going to go in your pajamas, okay? I think you're going to take a shower. You're going to, make your hair. I mean, I take a shower, I shave, I put gel in my hair, I blow dry it. I try to find a nice outfit. I put on my nice watch, try to wear nice shoes. I am always punctual and on time. The only thing different I don't do is I guess I don't wear makeup. Okay, so I think that's just feeling good about yourself, right? I think when you feel good about yourself, you're more apt to be flirty. If you just show up like you just worked out, I just think it's not tacky. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but I just think you feel better when you get dressed up. I know when okay, this was something Marie encouraged me to do, but when I traveled, I started to wear a sport coat. Just kind of had that look of and I felt better about myself. And actually, it came in handy having a sport coat because it was good to have that kind of jacket. But I just liked how I felt, so getting made up, I just think we feel a little bit better about ourselves. I don't mean it from a place of dependency. I mean it from a place of just, I like looking a little bit nicer than the average person. I don't mean physically nicer. I just mean presenting myself. That's just how I feel about that. But if you have a different feeling, I'd like to hear about it, Jane. Jane also asked, do you think I should create a dating diary so I can monitor actions over time? No, what I think you should do is a dating journal and journal your feelings about each experience. Don't judge the person, only focus on the feelings you experience. The problem is if you experience negative feeling, then all you're doing is amplifying negative feelings. So I want you to, after a date, ask yourself, what positive things did I learn about myself from this experience? What was good about this experience and what am I most grateful for? Focus on that. You don't need to make a journal about the men. You need to make a journal about where you're at emotionally speaking. That doesn't mean to invalidate negative feelings, but don't write down the negative feelings. You just don't need to give momentum to negative feelings. That's my feeling on that. Magic Entertainer says, do you like vegetable lasagna? I like vegetable lasagna and I like meat lasagna. So yes, I love lasagna. Haven't had it in quite some time though. Jade is in the house. Wow, no gray. That's amazing. Just embrace the grays and anything age-wise with it. You look great. Well, that wasn't a question, but thank you. I do appreciate that. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, sometimes I see people walking around. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, Sandy says, as much as I enjoy watching you, I'm watching the Golden Bachelor wedding. Call me crazy. I get it, Sandy. I get it. I don't have regular television, so I have to wait for tomorrow morning on Hulu. So I have to wait 12 hours or so to watch The Golden Bachelor. And I'm going to shoot a video probably Saturday morning giving you my impressions about The Golden Bachelor. Um, It'll be interesting. I mean, do you think this relationship is going to work? I give it a 50-50 chance. I think they rushed the wedding too soon. I don't think they needed to have the wedding that soon from after this whole experience. That's just my gut feeling. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I guess there's some controversy about, oh, fuck, is it Gary or Jerry? Gary. Okay, Gary and Teresa. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's see. Jane says, I think it will not work. Yeah, I don't know. There's something, like it's funny. He seemed a little too good to be true, too Midwestern and stuff. And now I really, okay, I have disrespect for him. I'll be candid with you. I have disrespect. If he blatantly lied on television and didn't say that he was in a relationship with someone and he lived with this person for a while and he said, it's been 6 years since I've had anything, when it turns out he slept with a couple women, he's out of integrity. That's just bullshit, in my opinion. And so it's hard to kind of put trust in a person. Listen, I understand he didn't want to emphasize it, but it was going to come out. Elizabeth says, like the quote you put on Instagram, maybe it won't work, but maybe seeing if it does will be the best adventure ever. No response yet. Was it wrong to send that? So, folks, what Elizabeth is talking about is my post that I did. It said, the meme said, maybe it will work. Maybe it won't work out, but maybe seeing if it does will be the best adventure in your life. I'm here to tell every woman to take chances. I'm here for every man to take chances. My friends thought I was a fool for becoming a dating and relationship coach 17 years ago. Now I'm one of the top coaches in the country. I mean, everybody thought I was a fool. Everybody thought I was an idiot. I just trusted my heart. I trusted my gut. I trusted my intuition. I felt called to do this. And over the last 17 years, the evolution of where I'm at today, oh my God, has grown so much. And so I believe in every woman and every man taking chances in their lives. And that's even when it comes to walking up to a stranger and saying hello. You have no idea what could happen. So give it a shot. And as far as what you said, no response yet. Was it wrong to send that? I don't know what you're talking about, Elizabeth. Okay. Jade writes, would you agree that every man doesn't have to accept us? Only the right one will. And that there will be more wrong ones than right ones. That should show then that we should not personalize it. Okay. We're going to use the Thomas Edison explanation here. So if anybody knows the story about Edison making a light bulb, and I once said in a video, Einstein, talk about faux pas. There's a story where Edison it took 2,000 attempts to make the light bulb. And people asked him, what's it feel like to have 2,000 failures? He goes, I didn't have 2,000 failures. I learned 2,000 ways not to create a light bulb. Folks, it's not the right man. Well, certainly it's the right man, but everyone before that is not the wrong man. They were all part of your experience into meeting the right man. So I want everyone to write this down right now. I mentioned this earlier this week. I want you to go to Netflix. I want you to go to the series called Black Mirror. Someone write this down for me, Black Mirror. I want you to go to episode called Hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, the song by the Smiths. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ. It is a great illustration, Jade. There is no wrong ones. You just learn different ways not to meet the right person. Okay? All right. Ellie is in the house. I greatly appreciate your channel. Question, should I come to talk to a guy if the first should I continue to talk to a guy if the first phone conversation we had was not good? He did not ask any questions, very dry. So if that happened to me today, that would be my gut saying there's a misalignment. I'm telling you if it happened to me. The problem is we've been indoctrinated in this whole, but Jonathan, you just never know. You just never know. You just never know. You got to go. By the way, every dating coach tells you got to go outside of your comfort zone. You got to do the difficult things. And if it isn't right, you just never know. Okay. A broken clock is right twice a day. Okay. Yes, you don't never know. Okay. It could be the exception. But I want you to listen to your gut, Ellie. I want you to listen to your gut. What does your gut tell you? When it doesn't feel right, you don't have to go out and then don't second guess it. You know, people might say, well, people aren't good on the phone. Energy is energy. I don't buy this bullshit anymore. I'm here to say how they do their dating profile, how they speak on the phone, how they are. Now, granted, in person could be different. There's no doubt about it. Typically, it's not. It's usually a person that's flat. I mean, they're flat when you meet them, and then you just need tons and tons of chemistry. Okay, so then you're counting on tons of chemistry to take this rocket ship out into space. And boy, that's betting a lot on chemistry. But you got to do what feels right for you, and maybe just being open and receptive is what you need to do right now. Okay, hope that helps. Revolve says, have you colored your hair in the past? It could be that possibly getting a lot of questions about color. I've never colored my hair. Guys, can you just let this one go? I do have gray here. By the way, someone asked me, does the carpet match the drapes? No, I've got dark hair down there too. Or yes, I have. Oh, tell me what's going on in The Bachelor right now for those of you watching. Donna Marie is in the house. Gut is always 100% right. You're amazing, Jonathan. Keep it coming. Thank you. Lighthouse says, Jonathan, about Gary, you understand that he was in a TV show. He probably told what to time down and what tone down and whatnot. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. It still makes him look like a liar. And you know what? ABC didn't do him any favors. Then you know what ABC should have done? Is if he'd actually mentioned it, but they didn't post it, then they should come clean. That's bullshit. Because it makes him look like a liar. Doesn't make him look good. That's just my opinion. Magic Entertainer's in the house. Why would a guy that only went on one date with today say on a text, why did you ghost me? I had texted him last. We just text once in a while for like 2 months. Well, he probably felt ignored. So why would a guy that I only went on one date with, did you go on the date with him today? Or today say on a text, why did you ghost me? He probably felt ignored. I mean, I'm assuming isn't that what ghosting feels like? Being ignored. So he must have somehow misunderstood or didn't. By the way, I sent a text, or my hairdresser sent me a text the other day, and I didn't get it. And she followed up with anyway. So maybe something happened, but he's feeling ignored. That's what's going on. The quote that a quote that made it. wait, the quote about maybe it won't work out. I sent it to someone I've been out with a few times. I asked how they envisioned us, and he said, I think we are pretty good together. Was it wrong to send the quote? Oh, no, I think it's a great quote. I mean, why is sharing love wrong? By the way, when I use the word love, you're just sharing kindness. You're sharing a gift. You're sharing a piece of you. It's just piece of love. There's nothing, folks, there is nothing wrong with being from a sincere place. It's only bad when we do it to manipulate. Now, I'm not suggesting you were trying to manipulate Elizabeth, but if you were trying to get him to respond, then it could have had an adverse effect. But no, if you were sending it from a sincere, kind, loving place, there's nothing wrong with doing that. So no, I'm in full favor of what you did. Okay. All right. Sharon says the faux pas was join the heat instead of hot seat, but perhaps that slip was more of a verbal, by the way, I don't know how to pronounce what that is. Trump diddly, but not fool the eye, but funny comment nonetheless. Indeed, indeed. Anyone want to join the hot seat right now before we wrap up today? Bum, 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 bum. Jordan said, what are you doing over Christmas and New Year's? Well, what are you doing over? That was like last week. Where's your head at? I mean, are we talking about next year? I don't know what's planned for next year. I'm just focused on what I'm going to do tomorrow. So I have no idea why you're going down that rabbit hole. Lighthouse says, Jonathan, about Gary. Consider that he was on a TV show, but producers, he was probably, we already said that. Okay. So next time I'll just show that next time I will just show you that I'm not a man, LOL. Wait. The next time I'll show, I don't know what that means. If you're responding to, okay. If you're responding to what I said earlier about the $1 million, I don't think, let me process this for a second. I would say that possibly net worth is important to men these days as well as women. It used to be families would give a dowry from the female's family to the male's family for marrying their daughter. So I don't think most men care as much, but there certainly are men that do care about a woman's financial status. Certainly that she's not in debt, mostly, but most men don't care about that as much as women care about it the other way. I'm just saying, traditionally speaking. Okay. The Bachelor wedding. It's been boring so far. Really? I kind of figured it was going to be boring. I mean, I'm watching it tomorrow on Hulu, and I'll just fast forward it because I just want to cut to the upper. You know what I do, folks, when it comes to the TV shows, the reality shows? I always watch the first episode, but I fast forward through it. I usually watch the second episode, fast forward through it. I skip the third, the fourth, the fifth. And then I go to the last one and I fast forward through it. That's of the regular Bachelor. The Golden Bachelor, I was kind of glued to this one because I think it's setting a trend for dating for those of us in midlife. And because I'm a midlife dating coach, I thought it was rather important to get involved with that. But I fast forward most reality shows. I just think there's so much extra B-roll shit that's just a pain in the ass to sit through. So that's how I kind of operate there. Okay. No, True Morris says, no, you asked me if I was a man. So I said, I will get on the hot seat to show you I'm not a man. Well, click the link if you want to join the hot seat. And Trista says, oh, I spoke too soon. They had some excitement. Well, don't tell me yet. I'm watching tomorrow to get all the juicy, delicious news. In fact, I'll talk about The Bachelor probably in my Saturday video. Folks, I hope you found value in why you've not met the right man yet. If you want to put the odds in your favor, check out the link in the show notes to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. If you have something to share about this video, post a comment below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel. And in these last few minutes, if you could donate to the Connor Asley Scholarship Fund, I would be truly grateful. I'm going to sign off this video as I always do. First off, giving myself a big, gigantic Jonathan Bear hug of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love if that's okay. I'm going to ask you to turn to someone, a pet, a teddy bear, a pillow, and give it or them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love. And let's face it, we could all use more love in our lives. I want to thank the Magic Entertainer and Jade and Jane and Trista and True Morris and Resolve and Lighthouse and Sherry and Ellie and Sharon and Maria and Elizabeth and Marianne and Jade. I think I said Jane. Brian's in the house. Donna, I think I said that. Alexa, Sandy, Rena, everyone, big hugs, much appreciation. Have a wonderful evening. You be well. Take care.